My fellow gamers, I have been drafted by Donald Trump himself. First they got my homie Dolan Dark, and then they got Donkey Dragon with the UK draft and everyone else. This is a shame. They even got Basil, homie Basil. I'm just saying it right now, the end is near. I've been drafted by the US Marines to fight Iran. And that's what we're gonna do. First of all, we're gonna up that population growth because we're gonna need some troops, alright? Income tax, let's raise it a little bit. And might as well, raise them taxes for the war and research, I guess, or something. And good enough. And then we'll disband these troops because we're gonna have to ship these guys out to good old Iran. Meanwhile, the Saudis are going to join in this conflict, most likely, so I am playing as them as well. So we're going to pretend they need a lot of money, maybe some population growth, something like that. As for what they're going to do, I think we're going to have to get involved in the Yemen conflict and go after, the Iranian-backed rebel group in northern Yemen. So we're going to build a lot of troops here on the south and help Yemen kind of reunite, perhaps. As well as, I think Iraq is probably where most of the fighting is going to go down. So we're going to add some troops over here, kind of to make sure the Persian Gulf is safe. And we're also going to build some ports on this side of the country. The Afghans have assisted us from the east, the American allies, and now the war shall begin. All of our allies, well, I guess we only really need Iraq and Saudi, so let's just call them into the conflict. The troops are stationed along the border. Not that we have that many, but, oh, we can recruit a lot more now. Maybe we just needed a few turns to really prepare the military. I don't know how it works. But we can now draft the troops to, pretty much fight in this conflict for us. The Saudis are also going to join the conflict, as well as declare their own side conflict in northern Yemen to take down the Iranian-backed rebels, I guess. It's going to be hard to see what all occurs in this conflict. I guess we got a lot of troops here in the Persian Gulf who can assist us, but we're going to try to simulate it the best we can of what the strategy would be. Meanwhile, the Saudis are taking down northern Yemen. That conflict should be fairly easy. As for the Americans, it is now their turn to shine in the western Iranian front. This will be the first troops on the ground. And then the Saudis also, it's their turn now. They will mainly fight in the north. They might go after Tabriz, which is a major city in the mountains in the north. We don't know how many troops they have here, so for all we know, they could be well defended. But I think we should have a pretty good chance of just attacking them across the Persian Gulf as well. We're going to land a lot of troops here. We also got the Afghans helping us from the east, so, or maybe not that much, they're losing. Afghanistan is getting pushed back by the Iranians, so yeah, I definitely think they needed our help. The Saudis are the first ones to go into Iran. Parts of the south we've lost, but we did gain a couple tiles in the south. The Americans are seeing a complete victory, though, in the Western Front. And now it is our turn once again as the Americans. I'm trying to think of which group I would be located in. I'd probably be in this one, the one they put the most people in, so I'm going to declare this as the Shuckle Squadron. Shuckle Squad is going into Bandar or Mashar, something like that. Which one should be Dolan Dark? I think this one should be. And then this one can be, I don't know, maybe Donkey or something. Alright, the Saudis are advancing in the north. I think they might have the hardest front. I forgot to attack in Yemen, though. And the Americans are walking throughout the region. We have landed in Bandar. And Afghanistan has also pushed back the Iranians. In terms of how many turns it's only been 8 turns. So in terms of wartime, I'm going to pretend that this has been about, I don't know, each turn has been a month of fighting. So it's been an 8-month war so far. And the troops have slightly pushed into the mountains. Some small attacks have occurred in the south, but nothing too successful other than a few occupations. And then the Afghan conflict is where some ugly border changes occurred, but nothing too spectacular. Overall, though, it has been a very gory conflict in the first 8 months. And it's probably going to get worse. And then Iran is also attacking our Saudi troops in the south. I need to do something with them, instead of just keep them there and waste them. But for now, we have pushed back the giant stack of Iranian troops. Dolan didn't have to do that, but Donkey's squadron has mainly been wiped out. So I'm assuming Donkey is either gone or he's one of the last 70 survivors. Dolan is still kicking, though, even though he probably won't survive the Tehran conflict. So it's a very sad conflict. And then we have the Saudis moving north into Tabriz. I think the Saudis are going to have to assist in taking Tehran over. It's now the American turn. The Shuckle Squadron is going to go into 2 different groups. I'm going to go into Bashir just because it's a little bit safer. And the rest can go into Yazid. Yazid? However you say that. I can't even pronounce it. And the Saudis are being attacked in Yemen. The American troops are pushing forward, but I think Tehran will attack us at some point. Dolan Dark might be the one who has to take down Tehran. The rest of them can go into this city, and then maybe we'll do a risky operation with Donkey's squadron. Haven't really decided yet. I think we're going to keep them there for now, though. As for my team, I'm going to go into the large city of Shiraz, which is a very large southern city in Iran. So this will be a risky conflict, but I think we'll win. The other stack will go into Yazd, and this group in Isfahan will support Kazhan in the future conflict. And then we're also going to reinforce the front lines and eventually, hopefully, send some more troops from the second draft into the mainland. It's been 10 months so far. The conflict is still ongoing, but at this point, the mountains have, for the most part, been handled, and then the troops are mainly going to take down the rich population center of Iran, which is the north. And Dolan Dark's squadron has taken Tehran. The small 300 stack goes into this city. The Americans in Shuckle Squadron ally with the Saudis to take over Shiraz. And overall, the north has been secured by the Saudis as well. Yemen has also been taken out. And the south has been, for the most part, taken out as well. So it looks like now, at this stage of the conflict, Iran is very divided. And the conflict is pretty soon going to come to a full occupation or, for the most part, end of the conflict. I think Dolan Dark's squad is going to break up a little bit. And it's going to be risky to see if we can pull this off, but I'm going to try to take over like 3 provinces at the same time. It might be a little bit too risky, though. And then the Shuckle squad is going to reunite in Sirjan, and eventually they will reinforce the north as well, I think. I think for the most part this conflict is over. The Americans have stormed the north, And I think there's only one province left in all of Iran. So, yeah, the conflict is pretty much over at this point. America is victorious, and the conflict was 1 year and 2 months. And it looks like this. Probably a lot of issues would occur, though, during this time, in terms of it just being a gigantic occupation. For an occupation that takes an entire year and 2 months, that is a long time when comparing it to other wars like the one in Iraq and Afghanistan. So this would be a pretty ugly one. You definitely don't want to fight in it. But overall, the USA controls most of the land in the population centers, which we probably guessed they were going to do most of the fighting in. The Saudis supported from the north, even though in a realistic scenario that doesn't make a lot of sense. They'd probably mainly do stuff in the south. And Afghanistan, with the American-backed troops from the west, or the east, assisted also. So America did most of the work when it comes to the conflict. But now we can do a peace treaty with Iran. So what we're going to ask for is pretty much just complete control of all the land we can get from them. I think Afghanistan will probably ask for a little bit of territory as well, but it's kind of yet to be seen what occurs when it comes to that. We're going to try to help them out just in case Iran, tries anything. So we're going to assist Afghanistan and kind of block them off for them. And then we're also going to take over this province. But we have claimed all of this. The remaining Iran territory is fairly weak when comparing it to even Afghanistan at this point. So I'd assume Iran has pretty much been defeated. We're going to release all this territory we've gained as kind of its own independent country. And yeah, we have defeated Iran. We are the largest economy still, which is pretty surprising. Or maybe we're not the largest. The largest economy is Indonesia, apparently, because that makes sense. In terms of population, we are also the largest, which, again, that makes perfect sense. Alright, we're going to release all of this as its own independent country. It's a pretty ugly looking border. There's going to be a lot of border gore. But what should we call this brand new country? I think we're going to call it, I don't know. Maybe it could be just a democratic Persia or something. Something like that should work. The capital of democratic Persia will be, I don't know. Probably Iraq or something stupid. How about Isfahan, since it's kind of located in the center of the country? That will be the capital of the democratic Persian country. It is also a puppet state to America. But we will liberate them and let them run their country independently. And they are now a democratic country. Or about as democratic as it gets when compared to actual Iran. So this is overall the map, the new border of Iran. It's fairly ugly, but I guess Afghanistan's conflict with Iran is still ongoing, so we don't know who's won yet, technically. Alright, Afghanistan peaced out with Iran. This is the final border of the Iran war. It's pretty ugly. Still looks like a lot of conflicts would break out. Especially between the two separate Irans. We'd probably see another conflict break out like right after the peace deal. Not to mention Afghanistan annexing all of this land over here would probably cause some ethnic issues, but yeah, this is overall what the map is looking like after 17 months of fighting. It's not very realistic, but I think if the map did look like this after 17 months, it'd probably mean another war in the region would probably be pretty soon, considering the borders are disgusting and don't make a lot of sense. But this is Raider Knight signing out. I have been drafted. I'm joking. Or at least I hope I'm joking. Maybe it'll happen for real. But I'll see you all gamers in the next one, and peace.